Hey guys, this is Ken. I'm back with another update. Um, this is the video following my week 4 update. Um, and yeah, basically, I've been hard at work, so it's been, I think, 2 and some change in terms of weeks since that. Which, by the way, I obviously use the term week very liberally. If you actually check out in the description, like the dates on when I hit all my lifts. But basically, a week for me is just however long it takes for me to do 3 upper body sessions and 2 lower body sessions. Um, you can't like always predict when your recovery will be, so um, I just find this is the best way for me to program personally. Um, so yeah, I'm now in basically week 7 of this program. I just hit my squat max. I was very pleased with it. I was able to hit 475. Um, I actually did try 480, and I think it would be there, had I not been fatigued from the prior attempts. Um, but yeah, as soon as I got to the sticking point, I was like, I'm just gonna drop this because I don't want to be also fatigued going into my bench max day and my deadlift max day. So I'll say the way I programmed this mesocycle is actually it's a cross between using percentages and using RPE and kind of using a Candido 6-week program. Um, so weeks 1 through 3 were very percentage based and submaximal. I basically did 3 by 5 for like every upper body exercise that I did, and the main upper body exercises I did were, competition bench with weighted pull-ups, um, and then I hit isolation work on the sides. Oh yeah, and rows. But I actually do the rows on my lower body day because they are taxing on the spine extensors, the lower back. Um, yeah, so very percentage based, submaximal up to week 3, and then in week 4, I kind of started overtraining and doing my thing in terms of like, well, I actually need to hit some new numbers, so let's get off these percentages and let's get cracking. Um, and as I said in my week 4 video, I was adding rest days to accommodate any over fatigue that I might have been experiencing between the training sessions. Um, yeah, it's actually interesting. I think this is a thing with a lot of programs where a lot of them will kind of intentionally overtrain you, and it was very apparent with my deload session. Like nothing I did in my deload session was really like challenging, but basically every time I touched a weight, except for maybe like the last sessions, I felt weak. I felt weak from hitting these lifts that you see here. So with the bench, this is 265, and I end up hitting it for a 3 by 5. I was very like pleased and surprised with this. I remember one time in the Candido program, um, this was probably a year and a half ago. I had 265 as a 1 to 4 set, um, and now it's my working weight for sets of 5. Um, Not a very maximal working weight. Like I'm trying very hard, but I was very pleased with that. I love these Cambered barbell presses. Like the first time I did these, you like drop it on your chest. If you just hold it down there, And you can do this even with some dumbbells. I think I've seen Bumstead do this in some of his training videos. But just hold the weight at the bottom. Don't press it and even intend to do anything with it, but just hold it. And you feel your chest just like opening up, like it's like night and day. Like you never normally feel your chest like that, but it feels great. Here you can see a bit of fatigue starting to set in. Happen to hit a failed rep, not a big deal. Yeah, this has been my main back workout or main back exercise, I would say. Weighted pull-ups are feeling great. I'm doing this like mini kip, and it definitely is helping me get to the top. It's kind of weird for me doing weighted pull-ups because I'm used to keeping my legs together and like very tight and like straight out, like rigid, my whole body. And it's hard to make that happen when you have a bunch of weights dangling between your legs. So I think part of this is like me just trying to get my feet out in front of me so that I'm counterbalancing the weight at the top. I think of it as akin to like how people do lat pull downs, but they'll like kind of lean like a 45-degree angle or something. That's basically what I'm doing. Yeah, so here are some accessories. I'm not mailing them in by any means, as you can see, but I am training them heavy, and so this is kind of an experiment with this program. I'm trying to follow the 3 to 5 rule with the 40s. You see, I'm starting to break out of that rule where you go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, do 3 to 5 exercises per training session, do 3 to 5 reps per exercise. I would have gone with a 45 for 5s if I had it, but I just don't. So still applying the basic idea of progressive overload and just adding another rep. So I've been very pleased with this program so far, but it's not to say that everything I was doing before with the percentages wasn't working. Like it kind of could have been working under the hood. You have quite a few variables when it comes to performance. Obviously, one of them is fatigue, and then the associated recovery from their fatigue is how you get stronger. And you never, you can touch a barbell and sometimes tell if you're fried or not, but really outside of the extremes of like being very recovered and being very fatigued, it's kind of hard to tell where you are in the middle. So after week 3, I said, fuck it. I started hitting PRs, taking more rest days, to accommodate that. And now I am, at the end of my deload. I just hit my squat PR 475. I don't know if I said that already, but I recorded this fucking video twice, cause stupid ass Audacity had the audacity not to pick up my microphone when I talked for the first 20-minute session. I'm still kind of upset about it, obviously. But yeah, for my deload, I actually stole Jeff Nippard approach, where he says keep the same weights that you did in your working sessions, but reduce the volume by 50%. So I'm pretty sure in his example it was like do the same number of sets, but like do half the reps. Well, I was doing sets of 5 on upper body, as you can see here. So for those, I would choose, especially when I started the deload, like a little submaximal. I think I chose week 4 or beginning of week 5 weights, and I did like 2, 3, 2, and then I would rather add 5 pounds, like to get back to my working weights that you see at the end of this week, or I would add a rep. So I might do 2, 3, 3, and then 3, 3, 3. And I like that because like it keeps you hitting heavy weight. That's the name of the game. Like, you're trying to maximize how much weight you can lift. So if you could choose to deload by doing nothing, which actually might be a good route if for some reason you're not getting enough calories or something. B, doing lightweight and a lot of reps, kind of like the polar opposite of the adaptation we're trying to induce. Or heavyweights for just a couple reps. And I will say maybe the fatigue was still even a bit high, even with my like measured approach going into the deload. But by the time I was at the end of the deload, I felt pretty much fully recovered and just ready to smash some PRs. So just to reiterate, this is my week 5 where I'm hitting a lot of like peak sets in terms of performance, and then week 6 is the deload that I'm talking about, and now I'm in week 7. I just squatted, and next is going to be a bench PR. You can see how freaking dark it gets in this shed. It's actually kind of cool. Like, obviously at night it sucks, but you can see it's like light outside and dark in there. It just is. It was storming at the time, which is actually kind of cool. It'd be cool if it stormed while I was trying to do my PRs. Just like play some like Viking metal and like max out to that. But I do need to get a light in here. It's just very low on my to-do list. I'm doing a bunch of projects inside my house right now, so it's like it's not really a priority. I think I stagnated out on rows. Like I could feel like I was overtraining on the other lifts. And so like especially after like squats and deadlifts, my lower back is like super fatigued. And the rows are just an assistance exercise. I just cut it at 2 plates. I think starting from the end of week 4. Yeah, I don't know if I said this already, but I'm going to post all of the whole lifting log in the description. I think for me, for bench, I've decided, I mean, you don't really want to change your technique, so I'm probably going to be benching pretty much just like this. But you might be able to tell, like, I'm pressing like not on the very top of my sternum. I'm pressing a little bit higher on the chest. I'm flaring out my elbows a bit more. I'm trying to get my feet really wide, and I'm angling my feet here to get some like extra stability. You know, you always think, especially when you hear about like leg drive, it's like the more of that you get, the better off you'll be. But for me, I think I'm actually stronger just getting my feet really wide, getting a base. Obviously, I'm still pushing through my quads. It's not that I'm not trying to use leg drive, but it's very different from the more like John Hack style where he's a bit closer. I think maybe he's like pinky on the rings type bencher. And his feet are a lot more narrow, and he gets a lot more leg drive pushing him up toward the bench than maybe I do. But I find for my personal form and my weaknesses that it's better for me to get more stable and really just, you know, push my chest through and get a big chest involvement in the bench, as opposed to more like shoulders and triceps. That would be a more hack style approach. Yeah, I think this is the heaviest weighted pull-ups I did. You know, I'm doing my mini kip. I definitely said this in the past recording, but yeah, I don't really care that I'm kipping. Like, it would be cool as shit to be like really strong on weighted pull-ups, but at the end of the day, it's also an assistance exercise for like having a big stable back for bench. So if I need to kip a little bit, get the weight up, slowly on the eccentric, go down, control it, I'm basically just tearing up my muscle fibers and my lats. So when they recover, they'll come back a bit stronger, maybe a little bit bigger, and just give me that solid foundation for bench press. I feel like everyone said this in the YouTube fitness industry for quite a while now, but controlling your eccentrics and really emphasizing the weighted stretch position is the safest and a lot of people would say the most conducive way to build muscle. So that's kind of my approach there. I've always done it just because it's safe, right? So because it's safe, I might be getting less reps than I normally would be going fast, but I'm probably getting like the same muscular recruitment, the same muscle growth, and I'm not messing up my joints. Like if you get injured, you're not going to be lifting at all. So how about you factor that into your equation of like, this is how I'm going to get jacked. But if you like to go like fast, explosive, whatever, do you, man. Like you'll probably have the same amount of muscle growth as somebody who does slow and controlled, and you'll have a lot more fun while you're lifting. So those are the pros. But the cons is you might mess yourself up. Just accept that going into it. So basically, in summary, if you take nothing else away from this video, keep your programming simple. Use methods of progressive overload. Don't be afraid to keep the weight very light and basically practice the movement, even though it's not difficult. And then week by week, ramp it up until you get to a point where you no longer can progress, and then deload. And then optionally, after you deload, you know that your fatigue is basically at an all-time low, and you were only recently handling heavy weights, especially if you use the nippered deload method, where you keep the same working weights and reduce the volume by 50%, then you can go into a week 7 being completely refreshed and ready to hit a 1 rep max. So, if you want to see that 475 squat PR, that's just listed as a short on my channel. And yeah, I will keep you guys posted on the progress as I go into this week of maxing. I'm just going to be maxing bench, then deadlift, and I might even take a day of recovery after bench because of the squats. But I might also hit a weighted pull-up PR and just see what I get with that. Why not, right? Like, you're going to be using these numbers for programming later, so the more 1 rep maxes you can get on your accessories, the better. But keep it simple. If it's frustrating you, should I do a weighted dip 1 rep max after my bench? Just don't worry about it. Just hit your main lifts. Keep everything simple, and yeah, make sure you try hard as fuck, and I promise you will get results. Anyway, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day.